The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams. The role of Laura, Joseph and Nick, the role of Jim, Bald and Paolo.
Break a leg.
Let's do this.
I had known Jim slightly in high school. In high school, Jim was a hero. He had tremendous Irish good nature and vitality, with the scrubbed and polished look and white china wear. He seemed to move in a continual spotlight. He was a star in basketball, captain of the debating club, president of the senior class and the glee club, and he sang the male lead in the annual night operas. He was always running or bounding, never just walking. He seemed always at the point of defeating the law of gravity. He was shooting with such velocity through his adolescence that you would logically expect him to arrive at nothing short of the White House by the time he was 30. But Jim apparently ran into more interference after his graduation from Solvang. His speed had definitely slowed. 6 years after he left high school, he was holding a job that wasn't much better than mine. I knew that Jim and Laura had known each other at Solvang, and I had heard Laura speak admiringly of his voice. I didn't know if Jim remembered her or not. In high school, Laura had been as unobtrusive as Jim has been astonishing. If he did remember Laura, it was not as my sister. For when I asked him to dinner, he grinned and said, "You know, Shakespeare, I never thought of you as having folks." He was about to discover that I did. One little warning. He doesn't know about Laura. I didn't let on that we had dark ulterior motives. I just said, "Why don't you come and have dinner with us?"
Hello, there, Laura.
Hello.
How are you feeling now? Better. This is for you. A little dandelion wine.
Thank you.
Drink it, but don't get drunk.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
I judge you to be an old-fashioned type of girl. Well, I think that's a pretty good type to be. Hope you don't think I'm being too personal, do you?
I believe I will take a piece of gum, if you don't mind. Mr. O'Connor, have you kept up with your singing?
Singing? Me? You say you've heard me sing?
Oh, yes. Yes, very often. I don't suppose you remember me at all?
You know, I have an idea. I've seen you before. I had that idea soon as you opened the door. It seemed almost like I was about to remember your name. But the name that I started to call you wasn't a name. And so I stopped myself before I said it.
Wasn't it Blue Roses?
Blue roses. My gosh, yes, blue roses. That's what I had on my tongue when you opened the door. Isn't it funny what tricks your memory plays? I didn't connect you with high school, somehow or other. But that's where it was. It was high school. I didn't even know you were Shakespeare's sister. Gosh, I'm sorry.
I didn't expect you to. You barely knew me.
But
Yes. I remember what a beautiful voice you had.
what have you done since high school?
Huh?
I said, what have you done since high school, Laura?
Nothing much.
You must have been doing something these 6 long years.
Yes.
Well, then, such as what?
I took a business course at business college.
How did that work out?
Well, not very well. I had to drop out. It gave me indigestion.
What are you doing now?
I don't do anything much. Oh, please don't think I sit around doing nothing. My glass collection takes up a good deal of time. Glass is something you have to take good care of.
What did you say about glass?
Collection, I said. I have one.
You know what I judge to be the trouble with you? Inferiority complex. Know what that is? That's what they call it when someone low rates himself. I understand it because I had it, too. Although my call was not so aggravated as yours seems to be. I had it until I took up public speaking, developed my voice, and learned that I had an aptitude for science. Before that time, I never thought of myself as being outstanding in any way whatsoever. Now, I've never made a regular study of it, but I have a friend who says I can analyze people better than doctors that make a profession of it. I don't claim it to be necessarily true, but I can sure guess a person's psychology. Yep, that's what I judge to be your principal trouble. A lack of amount of faith in yourself as a person. You don't have the proper amount of faith in yourself. I'm basing that fact on a number of your remarks and also on certain observations I've made. For instance, that clumping you thought was so awful in high school. You say that you even dreaded to walk into class. You see what you did? You dropped out of school. You gave up an education because of a clump, which as far as I know is practically non-existent. A little physical defect is what you have. Hardly noticeable even. Magnified thousands of times by imagination. You know what my strong advice to you is? Think of yourself as superior in some way. You see what you did? You dropped out of school. You gave up an education because of a clump, which as far as I know is practically non-existent. A little physical defect is what you have. Hardly noticeable even. Magnified thousands of times by imagination. You know what my strong advice to you is? Think of yourself as superior in some way.
In what way would I think?
Why, man alive, Laura, just look about you a little. What do you see? A world full of common people, all of them born and all of them going to die. Which of them has 1/10 of your good points, or mine, or anyone else's? As far as that goes, gosh, everybody excels in some one thing, some in many. All you've got to do is discover in what. Take me, for instance. My interest happens to lie in electrodynamics. I'm taking a course in radio engineering at night school, Laura, on top of a fairly responsible job at the warehouse. I'm taking that course in studying public speaking. Oh, because I believe in the future of television. I wish to be ready to go up right along with it. Therefore, I'm planning to get in on the ground floor. In fact, I've already made the right connections, and all that remains is for the industry itself to get underway, full steam. Knowledge, zip. Money, zip. Power. That's the cycle democracy is built on. I wonder, I guess you think I think a lot of myself.
No.
Now how about you? Isn't there something you take more interest in than anything else?
Well, I do, as I said, have my glass collection.
I'm not right sure I know what you're talking about. What kind of glass is it?
Little articles of it. They're ornaments mostly. Most of them are little animals made out of glass, the tiniest little animals in the world. Mother calls them a glass menagerie. Here's an example of one, if you'd like to see it. This one is one of the oldest. It's nearly 13. Oh, be careful, if you breathe, it breaks.
I'd better not take it. I'm pretty clumsy with things.
Go on, I trust you with him. There now, you're holding him gently. Hold him over the light. He loves the light. You see how the light shines through him?
It sure does shine.
I shouldn't be partial, but he is my favorite one.
What kind of a thing is this one supposed to be?
Haven't you noticed the single horn on his forehead head?
A unicorn, huh?
Yes.
Unicorns, aren't they extinct in the modern world?
I know.
Poor little fellow, he must feel sort of lonesome.
Well, if he does, he doesn't complain about it. He stays on a shelf with some horses that don't have horns, and all of them seem to get along nicely together.
How do you know?
I haven't heard any arguments among them.
No arguments, huh? Well, that's a pretty good sign. Where shall I set him?
Put him on the table. They all like a change of scenery once in a while.